Good morning everyone. Today we'll be starting with the performance of transmission lines. Right? So this topic is quite easy. The only thing is one should be good with the circuit analysis. Right? So we'll start with the topic performance of transmission lines. So the design and operation, why this topic is important is because the design and operation of a transmission line is greatly influenced by the voltage drop, line losses and efficiency of the transmission line. All of these factors, the voltage drop, line losses and efficiency, all of these factors are related to transmission line and are dependent on the line parameters, that is resistance, inductance and the capacitance of the transmission line. So all these factors R, L and C, this will individually study when we see the module in which we are going to see the transmission line parameters. But right now we'll go with the performance analysis of transmission lines. So to analyze the transmission lines, first we need to classify the transmission lines. Right? So we'll start with the classification of transmission lines. So first one is short transmission line. The transmission line which is having the line length up to only 50 kilometers falls under this category of short transmission lines. Talking about the line voltage having the value less than 20 kilovolts are under these short transmission lines. So the capacitance effect in short overhead line is neglected. Right? See, because due to the small length and lower voltage, the capacitance effect is very small. Right? Hence, in short overhead transmission lines, we can neglect the effect of this capacitance. Therefore, while designing, modeling and studying the performance of the short transmission lines, we only consider the effect of resistance and inductance. Right? So whichever transmission line you see within the range of within the line length of 50 kilometers, it falls under the category of short transmission lines. The next category is the medium transmission line. So above short transmission lines, that is line length falling between 50 kilometers to 150 kilometers, fall under the category of medium transmission lines. Right? And the line voltage for medium transmission line is between 20 kilovolt and 100 kilovolt. So here, as in case of short transmission lines, we are neglecting the effect of capacitance. Here we cannot neglect the effect of capacitance. Right? Hence, while studying the performance of the medium transmission line, the capacitance effect must be included. According to the distribution of the effect of the capacitance, the medium transmission line analysis can be done using end condenser method, nominal T method and nominal pi method. Each of these methods we'll see in detail as we proceed with the module. Next, going ahead with the end condenser method. In brief, in this method, the capacitance of the line is lumped and concentrated at the receiving end or the load end of the transmission line. Right? What this line means is, we have done with the distributor. Right? Similarly, I'll draw a transmission line here. If I consider the transmission line A, B. Okay? So no doubt this is the transmission line whose length is more than 50 kilometers and less than 100 kilometers, and the voltage is greater than 20 kilovolt and less than 100 kilovolt. Right? So in end condenser method, in end condenser method, the effect of capacitance is assumed to be lumped. See, lumped, meaning of being lumped is being concentrated or being at one point. All the capacitors are assumed to be at one point. This is meaning of lumped. Whereas distributed, the opposite to be of the lumped is the distributed. If the distributed word I use here, it means all along the line, equally or unequally, the capacitance would be distributed. Okay, like this. It may be like this, between this it can be 50 kilometers, and between this and this it can be 100 kilometers. Okay, but the capacitance effect is distributed all over the line, right? But in end condenser method, the capacitance of line is assumed to be lumped or concentrated at one end, and that is the receiving end or the load end of the transmission line, right? The next method which we'll see is the nominal T method, right? In this method, the capacitance of the line is assumed to be concentrated at the midpoint of the line. Half of the resistance and half of the inductance are lumped on the either side, right? So if I show you the figure, if I say this is a transmission line, AB, right? So what we do here is the equivalent, electrical equivalent of this line is drawn like this. Okay, I have a resistance, I have a inductance. Just ignore the diagram, it's only for the understanding. Okay, this is the inductance, but this is R by 2, this would be XL by 2, right? Again I have a resistor here, I have a inductor here. Okay, at the center, in nominal T method, we assume that capacitor exists at the center. This was R by 2, right? So this here would be remaining R by 2, and this would be remaining XL by 2. This would be my sending end voltage, sorry, Vs, and this would be my receiving end voltage, Vr, or my load voltage, Vr, right? Will still once again, when I deal with the nominal T method in the medium transmission lines, we'll go through the equivalent circuit. But for this point of time, you understand that the capacitance of the line is assumed to be concentrated at the midpoint of the transmission lines. If the line is 100 km long, the capacitance is assumed to be concentrated at the 50 kilometers, right? Next, going ahead with next method, which is my nominal pi method, right? So in this method, the capacitance of each conductor is divided into two halves, right? It means my, like in nominal T method, I had done R by 2 and X by 2. In nominal pi method, I'll keep R and X as it is, whereas the capacitance I'll divide it as C by 2 here, C by 2 existing here, and this C by 2 existing here, and I complete the transmission line. This is my receiving end voltage, and here is my sending end voltage, right? I hope up till here it was clear. In detail we'll read this in the further classes. So today's class will continue with the short transmission lines. But before that, I'll tell you one more is my long transmission line and medium transmission lines. Now I'll give you a brief introduction to long transmission lines. So just remember that the line length which is more than 100 kilometer or 160 kilometer, right, and the line voltage is higher than 100 kilovolts, those types of lines are called as long transmission lines, right? So there are different methods to analyze the performance of the long transmission lines that we'll see further, right? But whatever be the classification of the transmission line, whatever may be the classification of the transmission line or the category of the transmission line, the main aim of the transmission line is to transmit power from one end to other end, right? So while doing so, we assess the performance of transmission line in terms of efficiency, right? So efficiency of a transmission line, we know that output by input, right? In machines you give efficiency as output by input. So here also we give power output divided by power input, in the sense power delivered at the or received at the receiving end and divided by the power sent from the sending end into 100, right? I forgot to put into here, right? This is percentage efficiency. Next, power sent from sending end minus losses is equal to power delivered at the receiving end or power received at the receiving end, right? Or we know that input power is equal to output plus losses, or output equal to input minus losses. Same formula for the losses we are applying it in the for the analysis of transmission lines. Next comes percentage regulation, right? You have studied in your machines voltage regulations, no load voltage to full load voltage divided by full load voltage, right? This is called as percentage regulation, right? So this is all about the classification of transmission lines. Further, one by one we'll start the analysis of transmission lines. So we'll start with the performance analysis of short transmission lines. Just to recall the points, now at this point of time we know that the length of the line is up to 50 kilometers, right? Next, the short transmission lines have the voltage of up to 20 kilovolts, right? In these types of lines we neglect the effect of capacitance. However, for the calculations we need or we consider into account the lines in reactance and inductance, okay? So depending on these points we are going to draw the equivalent circuit model of a short transmission line, right? So it's clear, this is the source and this is load, we the consumers are here, okay? So Vs is the sending end voltage and Vr is the receiving end voltage, okay? Is is the sending end current which has to pass through resistance R and inductive reactance XL, and IR is the receiving end current, right? Now we know that current will flow only if there is a closed path, okay? So if this conductor is A, B, okay, and let me say this conductor is CD, right? Now A, B, CD, this forms one loop, right? However, AB is one conductor and CD is the second conductor, right? So for the analysis what we have done, resistance of AB and CD I have considered as R. It means R is my loop resistance, okay, resistance of loop ABCD, and XL is my inductive reactance of loop ABCD, right? Hope I am clear, right? So I said AB is having its own resistance, say R AB, okay. CD is having its own resistance, R CD, okay. So this total resistance is represented as R, right? Similarly, XL is XL AB plus XL CD, right? I hope up till here it is clear. So depending on this equivalent circuit model, we'll now go for the performance analysis, for which I need to start drawing the phasor diagram, right? So depending on this, first what I'll do, I'll take this current I as a reference, right? So this is my current I which I have taken as reference, right? So see, with respect to this I have to draw XL, I have to draw, see, with respect to this I have to draw VS, with respect to this current I have to draw VR, okay. Now see, VR is the voltage, okay, at the receiving end after the current passes through resistance and inductive reactance, right? So we know the relation between voltage and current in a pure inductor, right? So this was my current vector, right? So in a pure inductor, if this is my current, in a pure inductor, my voltage would lead current by 90 degree in pure inductor. However, since the transmission line is not a pure inductor, right, there is some phase angle, okay. So let phi r be the phase angle, right? So phi r is the phase angle, it means cos phi r is the power factor between, okay, power factor at the receiving end, clear? Next, with respect to this I, now I'll draw VS. So after I and VR and phi r, I'll draw, right, I have to draw VS. So for drawing VS, right, if I come back here, see, this was my current I, okay. Now I have drawn VR and cos phi r, right? Now I have to deduce this, right? So to deduce this, what I need, see, VS, if you go back to your Kirchhoff's law, VS is equal to voltage drop across this resistance, okay. It means if main capital current I is the current flowing, IR, voltage drop across this resistor is IR, voltage drop across this inductance is IXL. So according to Kirchhoff's law, VS would be IR plus IXL plus VR, okay. So VR we have already drawn, now I'll draw IR and IXL on the phasor diagram. So see, IR is the voltage drop across the resistor, and we know that voltage and current in a resistor are always in phase with each other, right? If this is my current in a resistor, then this would be my voltage in a resistor, okay. So accordingly I had drawn this current vector I, right, to which I have drawn the receiving end voltage VR. So phi r or cos phi r would be my load power factor. IR, since IR is the voltage drop through the resistor, right, it is always in phase with the current, okay. I would have drawn it here, the same parallel line I have taken here. I hope this is clear. Next I have to draw IXL. Now IXL is the current through pure inductor, not resistor, pure inductor. It means it is, see, voltage across inductor is leading current exactly by 90 degree. Okay, I would have drawn it here. The same thing I have shifted it for the, or the same line I have shifted it from here. So now VR plus IR plus IXL is what? It's my VS, right? Now the angle between current and sending end voltage is my sending end phi S. Okay, so phi R or cos phi R was receiving end power factor and cos phi S would be sending end power factor, right? So this completes my whole vector diagram. Now onto this vector diagram I have to draw I have to carry out the performance analysis, right? So for that what I'll do, I'll mark different points O, right, A, B, C, D and E, right? Now from A and B I'll draw perpendiculars to vector I, right? Now I'll go on doing the analysis, right? Now from the right angled triangle OEC, see, O is here, E is here and C is here. So this forms a right angled triangle. So OC square equals to OE square plus EC square, right? So what is my OC? OC square is, see, OC is my VS, so VS square. OE is what? OD plus DE, so OD plus DE I have written, plus EC is what? EB plus BE. Okay, it is EB plus BC, it has to be BC, right? Next, see, VA square, keeping it as it is here, right? Now what is my OD? I have to write equation for OD. So what I do, right, this OD, we know resolution of forces, it is having this part, horizontal part and the vertical part. Vertical part gets eliminated, it means sine component gets eliminated, right? For here we'll consider it over a point of time. So when I resolve this, see, this vector is VR, right? So its horizontal component would be VR cos phi r. So I have written VR cos phi r. However, DE is equal to this and this is my IR. So this is my IR, right? Now next, EB plus BC I have to write, right? See, BC is no doubt I into XL, but what is EB? Right? What is EB now? EB is, right? See, I have a component here. VR's cos component is this and sine component is VS into sine phi r. Clear? Plus BC. See, this is my BC, which is I into XL, right? So now I'll solve this equation. So it is VS equal to square root of VR cos phi r plus IR square plus from here VS sin phi r into IXL square within the square root. Right with this? So this is my equation for sending end voltage. Now coming to percentage voltage regulation. We know that voltage regulation is sending end voltage minus receiving end voltage with respect to receiving end voltage into 100. Right? Next, sending end power factor is what? Cos phi s. Phi s is the phase angle, cos phi s is the sending end power factor. So phi s is what? It is OE by, see, phi s is right. So sending end power factor would be, see, this is my phi s, right? So see, I have written, it is shown QS and QR here. Please consider it as phi s and phi r. So sending end power factor is what? See, if I consider triangle OCE, phi s, okay, matlab cos phi s, right? Power factor is cos theta. So cos phi s would be OE, right? Adjacent OE divided by hypotenuse OC. Okay. So OE is what? OE I had done it here. It is VR cos phi r plus IR. So VR cos phi r plus IR is my OE. However, OC, I had not done with OC. OC, it's clear. It is what? VS. Right? Next, power delivered is, we know we are talking about single phase. So it is VR IR cos phi r. Delivered, we are talking about the receiving end. So I have taken receiving end voltage, receiving end current and receiving end power factor. Okay. Line losses would be I square R, right? Now sending end power is VR IR cos phi r plus I square R. We know that output is, right, this and I square R, right? Sending end power. Sending end power is what? Input. If you talk about your machines, how you write? Input power is equal to output plus losses, or output equal to input minus losses. Okay, same thing is taken here, right? So depending on this, we'll now write the equation, right, for efficiency. Efficiency is what? Output by input, right? See, output by input, this expression remains the same whatever be the analysis. Again, efficiency is output by input. So output is what? Power delivered. So it is VR cos phi r, and input is, see, is this sending end power, VR IR cos phi r plus I square R into 100. So what is this? This is my transmission efficiency, which is given as power delivered divided by power sent. Delivered means, right, received. Okay, let me not confuse you. This I'll say it as, instead of power delivered, I'll say power received, right? I hope this was clear, this analysis was clear. So what you have to do is, you have to, from your side, first draw the equivalent circuit of the short transmission line, right? I was here, right? You have to first draw the equivalent circuit of the short transmission line. Depending on my explanation, you have to yourself draw the short transmission line's phasor diagram, right? This is what is my phasor diagram. Then you have to yourself carry out the analysis. Please keep the slides for reference. Do not copy the things from the slide, right? It's only for your understanding purpose. So this completes the analysis of short transmission lines. Further, in the forthcoming classes, we'll go ahead with the numericals on the short transmission line. Thank you.